So I want to start this video off by saying that sometimes the NBA is an absolutely brutal business for players, and a lot of times it's an absolutely beautiful business for players. Now, as you guys know, Jalen Brunson has been at the forefront of NBA free agency, in large part because he's one of those moving pieces that's going to have a giant ripple effect throughout the league if he does decide to leave. Earlier this year, Rick Brunson said we have to figure out if Dallas wants him. Not words, Rick Brunson said. Ain't no discount, so don't put it on us. Don't tell me you love me, show me. Guys, this video we have a lot to talk about. But before we go any further, let's get a word from our sponsor. I want to give a huge shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's video. In just 6 seconds with ExpressVPN, you can change where sites think that you're located to show that you're from a different part of this planet. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering why you'd want to do something like this. Well, personally, I use ExpressVPN to be able to watch some of the coolest movies and TV shows that just aren't available in the US for whatever reason. With ExpressVPN, I'm able to gain access to over thousands of new shows in a matter of seconds on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, you name it. For everybody that loves Brooklyn Nine-Nine like me, did you know that it's available on Netflix, just not in the US? Gamers, ExpressVPN's encrypted connection and protection also helps to protect you against DDoS attacks from rival gamers or anyone who may just want to dig up your personal info. Guys, make sure you're staying protected and getting the most out of your streaming services today. Head on over to expressvpn.com/dcoop and use my link. If you use my link, you'll get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. That's a deal that's hard to beat. Again, I want to give a major shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Now, I know I got a lot of heat in one of my earlier videos for saying that this is going to be a crazy offseason, but here we are. Already in this offseason, the Mavericks have the potential to lose one of their key contributors from last season, and I honestly think calling Jalen Brunson just a key contributor is undermining everything that he was able to accomplish for the Dallas Mavericks. Might I add that the Mavericks added Christian Wood this offseason. This is a team that at this moment has a lot at stake. You have a franchise player in Luka Doncic that has time and time again shown us that they are ready for greatness. If you're the Dallas Mavericks at this time, you want to be worried about getting better. You don't want to have to be worried about potentially losing players like Jalen Brunson. Yesterday, it was reported by Tim McMahon that it was widely anticipated that Jalen Brunson will go to the Knicks on a 4-year deal that will exceed $100 million. McMahon went on to say that it remains to be seen how New York will clear the rest of the necessary cap and whether the Mavs can work a sign-in trade to recoup assets. Jake Fisher would follow this report by reporting, from everything that I've heard, it really does sound like things have shifted and he is more likely than not to become a member of the Knicks as opposed to the Dallas Mavericks. Then naturally we would finally get the answer to Tim McMahon's question: how would the Knicks clear the necessary cap space to acquire Jalen Brunson? Well, thanks to our guy Woj, he informed us that the Knicks were in fact trading Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to the Pistons in a deal that would unload $19 million more in salary, clearing the way for cap space to try and sign free agent guard Jalen Brunson. Now, according to Woj, the Knicks would include 2 future second-round picks and cash in the deal to incentivize the Pistons. He would later add that New York would send back Detroit its 2023 second-round pick and also a 2024 second-round pick that it got via Miami, and around $6 million regarding that cash that we mentioned earlier. Woj would go on to say the Knicks have cleared $30 million in cap space to offer Jalen Brunson in the neighborhood of a max contract. The unloading of these assets clearly shows the Knicks' confidence that they can secure Brunson once free agency opens. Not to be slept on in this whole Brunson nonsense, but Detroit got some really good role players. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Alec Burks is a point guard, but I do know that at the end of the day, he can make a positive impact on the team, as can Nerlens Noel. Pistons fans, subscribe right now if you are new to my channel, because I think that you're going to love it for the simple fact that I love what you guys are building. I absolutely think you guys were major winners in the draft. I don't even want to get into the picks because we're going to have a full breakdown video on Detroit coming very soon. According to Woj, Detroit is eager to utilize center Nerlens Noel and guard Alec Burks next season. GM Troy Weaver had Noel on his team in Oklahoma City, and Burks is an ideal veteran to mentor the Pistons' talented young group of guards. Now, maybe I'm thinking too far into development and all of that stuff, but I do think that vets go a very long way, especially for young teams like the Detroit Pistons. I'm actually hoping that the Houston Rockets add some viable vets this offseason. You guys may or may not know, but I am a big supporter of the Houston Rockets, and let's just say that's a team that could also use some better vets. All in all, a major win for Detroit, a team that has been making some very good moves as of late. The kind of moves where you buy low and then sell high. Now, to get back to talking about Jalen Brunson, according to Chris Haynes has talked with people in Brunson's circle that think that Brunson has another level that he could reach because with Dallas, he played with one of the most ball-dominant players in the league. In the comments below, I want to know what you guys think about this because I'm going to give my opinion shortly. I want to give a major shout out to the Dallas Mavericks Reddit for pointing this out, but apparently Jalen Brunson had a usage rate of 27.8 in the 2022 NBA playoffs. That's a usage rate that's on par with Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and Julius Randle during the regular season. A couple of players that without a doubt play a major role in their team's regular season success. Knicks fans, I'm really sorry that I included Julius. He's just relevant to this video because we're talking about the Knicks. Look, trust me, I saw what Obi was doing to close the season. I want you guys to play your young players too. Now, during the playoffs, Brunson averaged 17.8 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Now, usage rate isn't everything, and of course there are underlying factors, but I wanted to present that information without bias to add some perspective because I actually agree with Brunson's camp. Regardless of the numbers, regardless of the usage rate, I actually think that Brunson does have another level that he can attain. In 31 minutes per game last season, this is somebody that shot 50% from the field and 37% from the three-point line while averaging 16 points. If Brunson wanted to average 20 next season, I think that Brunson would average 20. That's if he's in New York. While the efficiency would take a hit, I definitely think that Brunson would be one of New York's top options. Do I think he would overtake RJ Barrett or anything like that? For the Knicks' sake, I would say no. But I would say that the potential for Jalen Brunson to consistently go off is there. And I would also honestly say that I think he's best suited for the role that he's in now. While he might not exactly be Luka's Kyrie at this moment, he's a pretty freaking good player, and he's a valuable playmaker that the Mavericks simply can't afford to lose, without a plan to replace him, that is. And of course the Dallas Mavericks know this. Mavs governor Mark Cuban and general manager Nico Harrison have Brunson ranked as the franchise's top priority this offseason, with the Mavericks willing to give Brunson a 5-year contract that only Dallas can offer due to owning his bird rights. Apparently, the Mavericks offered Brunson a 4-year, $55 million contract extension after the trade deadline, which Brunson basically declined because it wasn't offered earlier. After feeling slighted by the franchise, Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's father, made it clear that there would be no discount headed into free agency. Now, to make this mess even bigger, apparently Knicks president Leon Rose has known Brunson his entire life. Rose's first player client was Rick Brunson, and Rose represented Jalen Brunson at the beginning of his career. And to top it off, the Knicks are not playing fair. They agreed to hire Rick Brunson as an assistant coach, reuniting him with Thibs, under whom he served as an assistant coach with the Chicago Bulls and Minnesota Timberwolves, according to ESPN. Now here's where things really get fun. In April, Rick Brunson said, "It's a great fit in Dallas, but at the end of the day, my son is no different than the next man. You try and raise them the right way in terms of understanding the game, but everyone wants what Luka has. I don't care who you are. Everyone wants the feeling of, hey, I can do this too. I don't always think the grass is greener on the other side, but we'll sit down this summer and go through the pros and the cons of staying here or going somewhere else. Those were heavy words from somebody whose son would be entering free agency in the offseason. And look, I think he's right. I think at the end of the day, everybody does want what Luka has. But does that mean that everybody can be a franchise player? The answer is no. That's just not how the NBA works. There are only so many franchises. Now, according to Tim McMahon, the Dallas Mavericks do not want to give Jalen Brunson a 5-year deal that is worth more than Fred VanVleet money, which means about $22 million per year or $110 million total value. If Brunson leaves, I don't expect the Dallas Mavericks to sit on their hands and cry that Brunson left. I expect them to be active in trying to find more talent. Mind you, the Mavs don't really need another point guard. You have Luka, but especially with the absence of Brunson, what you could use is another playmaker. If I didn't make it clear earlier, I really like Jalen Brunson. This reminds me a lot of when Drew Holiday signed his extension with the Pelicans. When Holiday agreed to his 5-year, $126 million contract, Twitter let me know how incompetent they thought the Pelicans really were. Call it revisionist history, but I felt this way at the time also. The deal was an absolute steal for what was one of the best two-way players in the game. In the comments below, let me know what you think of everything and where you'd most like to see Jalen Brunson playing basketball next season. According to Chris Haynes, Brunson is granting meetings to the Dallas Mavericks, New York Knicks, and the Miami Heat on the first day of free agency. Haynes reiterates the fact that it would likely take somewhere close to a 5-year, $125 million commitment from the Mavericks to prevent Brunson from signing with the Knicks. I have so much more to say, but I'm going to save it for the next video, so subscribe if you're new. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload,